So what we
All right.
got, man? We got a lot to talk about, man. A lot to talk about, man.
I
What
mean,
we
I
got?
since you wanted to talk about darts, man, let's get this out the way, man. Can
Uh
the Steelers win it all? Heck no. They're not
huh.
winning nothing. They're not winning the division,
Uh huh.
nothing. You know who's in that division, so come on, let's not play, man.
Yeah, the Ravens. Yeah, the
You
Ravens.
know what it is.
Yeah,
So
the Ravens.
and then you got the Bengals who trying to do a little so
Mm-hmm.
in, but I don't care about nobody else. Raven
Mm-hmm.
Nation, Lamar Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
you know what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
winning it all, they're not even winning the division.
I
So
mean, listen, you know how about why I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, because I
nah,
gotta.
I'm good. It's just Ravens nothing for me. I ain't really, you know.
You know how I always feel about the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Exceptional quarterback. Lamar Jackson,
Oh,
most likely on a trajectory. He's going to, potentially be a Hall of Fame quarterback. It's just that you got, Mahomes of the world. You got, what's the guy that play on Buffalo?
no, don't even mention him. What we mention him for? He didn't win nothing.
No, I'm just
Mahomes,
saying.
okay.
I'm
Nah,
just
but no,
saying.
don't mention him. He's in the
You
same
got
boat as Lamar.
Right,
Same
right.
boat.
But you got him coming up. That's in that
No,
same boat.
no.
You got the guy from Cleveland now, not Cleveland.
Burrow?
Huh?
You talking about Burrow on Cincinnati?
Joe Burrow, Cincinnati. Yeah, they got a good team. And the guy, Dad, what's the quarterback? The black quarterback name that he made headways from not the
Oh, the
Redskins. They're
rookie
not. Yeah, what's his
from the
name?
Commanders.
From the Commanders. Daniels. Daniels is
So,
nice.
so
Yeah,
you
he's
mentioning
nice.
all of them, but you notice the only two-time MVP you mentioned was Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
You know,
that's cool. That's
if it
cool.
wasn't for Andrews dropping passes, we beat Buffalo. So Lamar Jackson, best player in the league. What are we
I mean,
talking about, man?
I
You're not even
mean,
doing this, man.
Lamar Jackson, is good, but again,
He's
I
good.
always say Lamar Jackson is just. I don't feel right. Like, and a lot of analysts got him projected to win the
Black
Super
on
Bowl
black
this
hate,
year.
man.
They got him
Crazy.
projected to win the Super Bowl this year. That's cool, but Lamar Jackson is like they always get to that spot, and then guess what? And then he doesn't show up.
That's
So
why.
he got to
That's why
show
we
up
don't never
this
do
year.
nothing. That's why blacks. That's why we don't go nowhere because we hate on each other.
It's
We
not
hate on
hating.
each other.
No, it's
That's why
not
we don't
hating.
go nowhere, man.
It's not hating.
Lamar
Is
Jackson, Baltimore. Y'all know what it is. Y'all stay locked in, man.
It ain't
I
hating.
ain't
It's just
gotta.
the boy
I ain't gotta
hasn't.
reiterate.
He hasn't got over the hump. He hasn't got over the hump. And for the past 2 seasons,
The
they was
hump.
deeming him to get over the hump, and he hasn't gotten over
Yo,
the hump.
yo, Mark
Uh,
Andrews. Hopefully you come ready. Cause see, now we got to deal with this. Cause you want to drop passes and touchdowns and all of that. So everybody just please come locked in this year. Cause we got to deal with this. It's like Lamar. No, Lamar. He threw a couple innos early in the game. It was not a
mm-hmm,
factor because they
mm-hmm,
had a chance to win the game.
mm-hmm.
So I don't want to hear about Lamar because he did his thing. Andrews
Well,
catch the ball
well,
because them
listen. We
passes
always
was crazy.
when we look at NFL teams and when we look at the success of NFL teams, the first thing we look at is what the quarterback, right?
Yeah,
So regardless if he dropped the pass or the kicker missed the kick, the person that's going to take the brunt of the reflection or the brunt of the offensive talks that everybody talk about is the quarterback. So we got to put it
see.
on Lamar Jackson
That's
as well,
crazy. That's crazy.
But
Because when Pippen had the
let's
migraine, they wasn't talking about Jordan Law. They was like, no, Pippen, he's a bum. Step your game up. It's only when convenient that narrative go. But I hear what you're
But you
saying.
know why? Because when you look, I mean, basketball and football are two totally different sports, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you at the helm, the quarterback is at the helm of the whole offensive. That's one person in charge of that whole other 12, 13 players on that field at that current time. So you're looking at
Yeah,
the quarterback, right? So it's
yeah,
like the receiver could go do his thing, run a great route. If the quarterback ain't getting him the ball or the ball is slightly off, it's the quarterback's fault. It could be you could throw a nice ball like a dart. Sorry, my man Dart. The receiver could get it, he dropped the ball. Yeah, they're gonna be like, yeah, he dropped a couple of passes, but if it's not continuously throughout the game, at the end of the game, they're gonna look at the wide receiver. But what could the quarterback have done? Why did the quarterback keep throwing it to me, keep dropping ball? So it's always gonna come down to the quarterback. Unfortunately, is going to be like that. And they're going to look at Lamar Jackson as, okay, bro, when are you going to get over the hump? You know, when? When? Last year, it was supposed to be his year too. The year prior to that, supposed to be his year too. You know, they keep saying Lamar Jackson Super Bowl, and every time he gets to the championship game, he just can't get over the hump. So hopefully, you know, he could get over the hump this year. Hopefully. We're gonna see. But they saying the same thing, you know.
And
but
basically,
Pittsburgh.
to answer that, I'm about to say that's how you know Pittsburgh ain't winning at all, because the question started with them and we didn't even talk about them. Like,
right.
Because they're bums. Next.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, 42 years old. They just signed. Signed T.J. Watt, so they showing up their defense. You know, so they just got who else they picked up? They picked up the guy from the Dolphins. What's his name?
It don't even matter.
Yeah,
I mean, they picked up.
Yeah, they got T.J. Watt, Cameron Haywood, Highsmith. What's that guy name from
Listen,
my God.
Jerry Rice can't save them, man. They ain't going nowhere. I said Jerry Rice couldn't save them. They ain't going nowhere, man.
What is the guy name? Somebody name the guy name. What's the guy name that he picked up from the Miami Dolphins?
I ain't gonna lie, I don't pay attention to the Steelers, man. It's Ravens and man. So I don't know.
Gosh. Yeah, they got DJ Metcalf. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey. They picked up. You know, to show up that secondary. I mean, defense wise, we got Mike Tomlin. We can't discredit Mike Tomlin though. Can't discredit him.
They're not beating us. Next. We sent them boys home too in the playoffs next.
Yeah, shout. Bro, if Lamar Jackson happens to go against the Steelers this year, and if they lose to the Steelers in a pivotal game,
they're gonna play them twice. Them division games is always tough. So I mean, in the playoffs, you mean?
Yeah, I'm talking about the players and lose to the Super Bowl. If they lose to Steelers,
that's not the Steelers.
Then
listen,
what?
Man, Raven Nation, man. You good? Come on. Next. Yeah, we go switch, man, because we talk about the bum Steelers, man. These dudes is bums.
Shout out Aaron Rodgers.
So we gonna get into. I mean, it's a couple ways to navigate, but let's touch on the boxing real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch any of the fights on Saturday?
Nah, because none of the fights was appealing to me. You had Jake Paul
against Chavez Jr. He won. Now he's ranked.
Who? Jake Paul is now ranked?
Yeah, they ranked him. Yeah. But the one for me was the Floyd Schofield against Tevin Farmer, because Tevin Farmer was supposed to be the vet. You know, he had that situation. Floyd, he wasn't supposed to fight Shakur back in February.
Right.
He got sick and all of that. So he was looking cooked. So this was a good redemption fight for him. He knocked Farmer out first round.
He had to.
That was good to see. He took care of business. So, you know, that was cool. You know, another fighter on the rise in that 135 division. So
yeah, he's 19-0, 13 knockouts. He got
you know. So you know, it wasn't too much heavy, because I wasn't really interested in the Paul either. I was interested in that one though, Tevin Farmer and Schofield. So in that over in round one, got him out of here. Tevin Farmer might have to sit down though.
And that's what you're supposed to do, right? If you got an opponent that's really not on your skill level, you're supposed to do what he did and take him out in the first round. You know, so that's why
it was an upset to a degree, though. I think because Tevin Farmer's a vet with a lot of respect. So him losing like that
ain't gonna win you fights.
Well, but he's not a bum though. That's what I'm saying though. So the fact of him getting, like, even Shakur, I don't know if you see Shakur, he was like he's disappointed in Farmer because he know better than that. He know the young fighter's gonna come out quick and stuff. So he like, yo, Farmer, like, you know, he feel like Farmer, like, you know, he messed up, and you know.
But that's like somebody fighting like a overly washed like Roy Jones, right? You know, you got a young fighter coming in there, and Roy Jones had his prime, had his height. You know, and you go in there because you want to get a fight and see what you could do against the young bulls. The young bulls run all over you. You know, so like I said, the experience and that doesn't really equate to like you got to go out there and win a boxing fight. You know, against a young bull that's coming at you. You know,
he knocked him down 3 times in round 1 too. 3 times, and they had to stop it. Like he was getting hit, boom, boom, and then it was like, oh, okay. Now the referee was like, all right, come on. And Farmer already cross-eyed, so he was looking crazy when he getting hit. So. Yeah, that's why I thought, I'm like, I'm like, damn, it make him look even more crazy when he was getting knocked down. It's like, guys, asshole though.
And that's why people criticize Shakur, because they're like, yo, you came in there, you fought a plumber that was like what 2 months like to prepare, and you went the distance with him. Like you
Yeah,
supposed to take care of business. You're supposed to
yeah,
knock him out. That wasn't even supposed to be a close fight,
yeah.
you know.
And your
So
boy,
that
he fighting in July in New York against
yeah,
a quality opponent. So that's your
mm,
man.
yeah,
So
yeah. I like Shakur. Shakur goodbye. Again, I'm going to stand on it until they fight. I think Shakur out of that three-headed monster with we could say 2 and 2.5, but Ryan
cause I ain't
Garcia
gonna
and
lie,
Tank.
Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, but Tank better win that rematch,
He
and
got
we'll
to.
leave that there.
Yeah, he got
Better
to.
win the damn,
He
and we're
got
not
to.
talking about in convincing fashion, and we'll
Hmm.
leave that there.
He got
You
to.
feel
But
me?
I want to touch on that Jake Paul and Chavez fight, right?
Yeah,
Because and then again, you look at Chavez, right? His record
yeah.
is 54 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw with 34 wins by knockout. So this guy has put in the
Work.
rounds of
Put in
boxing, the
work.
work. You
Yeah,
know, and you go against a guy like Jake Paul, right? And people are saying, yo, even though he's ranked, people are saying, is his fights rigged? His fights is fake, and he came out saying he's willing to sue anybody. But if you look at Jake Paul and you look at his guy Chavez Jr. on paper, you're like, it should be why is Jake Paul even fighting this guy? It should be no match. So this is
yeah,
why people say these joints is rigged, because you're not, even though you're fighting boxers and this, down, and third, but you haven't. Why, from what we seen, you came from YouTube. You didn't go to no Golden Gloves. You ain't come up in no boxing family, nothing like that. You just saw an opportunity to make some money to do
yeah,
boxing, celebrity boxing, and you started from there, right? Making seemingly for boxers that been in the sport through the trenches, like you're making a mockery of the sport, right? So, to people that saying that his fights are staged, they got every reason to feel like his fights are staged, giving his background and giving the whole Tyson fiasco that happened. Because
yeah.
we know you beat Mike Tyson, bro. Like we know the
He
clips.
need to fight like he should have fought like a Deontay Wilder or an actual heavyweight because he's a heavyweight. Fight one of them actual heavyweights.
Yeah, fight one of these guys that's actually active in
Yeah,
boxing.
actual heavyweight. Because
Right.
Deontay Wilder just won his last fight.
He just won
That
his
would have been a
last
good
fight.
one. Yo, you go in there with Deontay Wilder. You
But
know
the
what I'm
thing,
saying?
right. And
Or
I just
Joshua or somebody.
because he fought, but he did fight a heavyweight. Didn't he fight Ruiz or somebody? It
I
was
can't
somebody
even
that
remember.
he lost to. Jake Paul,
I
he
don't
lost a. Let me
I
see.
don't even remember. Because I haven't really followed his like, everything with him.
Yeah, I think he had fought. It was Ruiz, I
Excuse me.
think. Um, but they'll break it down in the comments. But he got one loss on his record. But one loss was a guy
Okay.
that I think he was a heavyweight, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
man. Shout out to him. That's how he make his money.
Yeah.
But to the boxing, um, to the boxing specialists and the boxing caveats and all these guys that's in it,
Yeah.
that talk about it, that's journalists in it. They just feel like he is slighting the boxing, so to speak. He's making a mockery of it, especially by the people that he picks, knowing that like, yo, like you let this guy beat you, so But shout out to Jake Paul, man. I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. And you seen those the Caitlin Clark Kobe's, man. One of my mans got those. You said they sold out in minutes. I mean, I know it being her player exclusive added to
Mm-hmm.
it, but certain Kobe's, they be just selling out, just period. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, you throw a little extra sauce on it with her PE. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's kind of how the market is now when for certain sneakers anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the first one that was released to the general public for her
Mm-hmm.
name attached to it. So that's just a preview of what's to come because she with
Yeah.
Nike. So I know that they was testing the waters with that because she wears
Mm-hmm.
Kobe's, but when she plays, so when she
Mm-hmm.
get
And
her
I'm
own
looking at these
line,
joints. These joints is hard.
yeah, they was limited too. They
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like something easy to get, and it wasn't sold everywhere. So they know what they was
Mm-hmm.
doing because of where
Yeah.
who she is at the moment. You got to keep that prestige on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
man. I mean, I'm looking at the sneakers. They sold out in like in minutes of their release.
yeah, Yeah.
I'm looking at them. These joints is hard, and they retail for 190. That was
Yeah.
surprising. I thought they was
That's how
marked
much
a
the
little
Kobe's
lower.
go for.
That's how much they go for.
I think they go for 180, but I think maybe because her name, they probably, I think they bumped it $10 extra. But that's the regular retail for Kobe's.
Okay. Yeah, because I was looking, I was like, I don't know if that was the original, if it were like went higher or lower, like you said. I mean, but that's an average price of like a
Yeah, that's the
signature sneaker for
retail price
yeah. And they only
like for
sold, they
Kobe.
only it was a limited release. They only released about 13,000 pairs.
Yeah,
So that's crazy for 13,000 pairs to be sold out in minutes. That's crazy. That's crazy.
yeah,
They
because
they they.
sneakers is a raffle. You got to get raffled. Then a lot of these sites they did raffles, and if you get picked,
Mhm.
then you know.
And the resale, guess how much the resale value of them things is going for already?
At one point, I saw they was going for like double
Yeah, 4 bands, 4,000, bro.
4,000.
4,000, bro.
Wow,
As high as
wow,
4,000. That's crazy. You just bought a sneaker for $190 and you can't get
wow,
it, and you see a reseller selling them for 4,000, bruh.
wow. That's
Bruh.
crazy.
But again,
That's
that just goes to
crazy.
show you how, Caitlin Clark's presence and her aura and her
Yeah,
markability, to sell out a sneaker that fast. I don't think Aja uh shoes sold out that fast, you know.
Her first colorway they sold out, but
That
it was
fast
because it
though
was
in
like a
minutes.
it sold out pretty quick. I
Mm.
forgot where it was at, but it
The
sold out
comments will
quick. I
tell
know
us
they
though.
yeah, they had a little release, like
Mm-hmm.
an in-store release, and I know
Mm-hmm.
they had sold out.
Mm.
You know, but
Mm-hmm.
yes, you know how the sneakers is when it be the first colorway to drop, or it be the
Mm-hmm.
first this, it have that allure, and
Mm-hmm.
so
You know what about these sneakers, man? Like, yo, man, shout out to China or wherever these sneakers are made. You got these
yeah,
guys out there laboring, making 2 cents an hour, and these shoes are generally to make cost probably like 12, $13.
yeah. I seen
Ship,
a post. Air
yeah,
Jordan ones cost $16 to make
$16, and you go and retail them for
for 180.
190, one
Yeah,
eighty.
yeah,
The markup price is crazy on these sneakers, man. Like
yep,
the sneaker
yep,
game is out of control. Like, so I just
yeah,
want to
man,
shout out to all the manufacturers and laborers who's out there making these sneakers and getting, pennies on a dime to make
yeah,
these sneakers. And they out here in the States selling them for 3,000 market price. It's crazy. Crazy.
yeah,
Shout out to them. Had to give
and
him a shout. But shout out to Caleb Clark, man. Shout
yeah,
out to Caleb.
and your girl Angel Reese, she coming alive, man.
Listen, I'm gonna start off by saying this before you go. I deeply regret getting on this young lady. Maybe through the voices of other people, my voice was heard, and she just heard me saying trash, trash, and picking up the sign trash, trash. Maybe I don't know, but this girl
She's
has
cooking.
she's cooking. I let you go, but I'm looking at she's
Nah,
cooking.
no, you lead this. You lead this one.
I
The
mean, listen,
floor is yours.
huh? So
The floor is yours, man.
in the last, let me see, in the last 10 games, right? Let's see, Angel
Yeah.
Reese in the last 10 games, right? I had it up too, but I
Okay.
kind of like I was looking at something else, and then I was looking at something else and I flipped it. But Angel Reese in the last 10 games, she's been balling. She averaged 13.9 points, 12.7 rebounds, and 4.5 assists in her last
Yeah.
10. Right.
Yeah.
So she's still killing and rebounding, playmaking. Like she's doing her thing. She looks like she's
Yeah.
taking the criticism of her
Yeah.
and balled it all up like she did the Me Bound shirt. Profit and market. That was a marketing genius move by her, by the way. And she just took all the negative energy and poured it
Yeah.
into positive, and
Yeah.
she put it
Yeah.
into a game. That's what you're supposed to do. Don't go out
She set
there,
you up.
huh?
She set you up.
Yeah, shut me up. And that's what you're supposed to do, right? As a player, even though she didn't get selected, we're gonna talk about that, but she didn't get
Yeah.
selected
As a
WNBA All
starter,
Star,
at
so
least
as
as
a
a starter,
starter,
at least.
but She is doing what she's supposed to do and silencing all the naysayers. So listen, man.
Yeah.
I apologize, Angel Reese. You know, I'm this
Thank
is
you.
you
So
know,
please stop killing us, all of the public out there,
I'm sorry, Angel Reese. You out there busting your ass now. Don't fuck up now. Don't fuck up. You better keep it up. If not, I'm gonna be on your ass again. But shout out to you, Angel Reese. I'm proud of you, girl.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
She holding it down, man. And I ain't got none of
Uh-huh.
that. That was a you segment. That was for you. That was for you. So, I'm good. I'm good. So I guess we could chime in on the All Star. I mean, the starters were
Uh-huh.
announced.
Mm-hmm.
I know one team got the Sabrina, Stewie, Aja.
Mm-hmm.
I know Paige Buckers.
She's nasty too. Paige is nasty, bro.
That's like I feel like that's the real rivalry with Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, because
The
she and
Paige, and her.
because people were saying
Caitlin.
she got sick on purpose not to play against her that game.
Yeah, it's like it's never gonna be well when a matchup like that, and it's like you not playing. It's just like, yeah, what's going on
It
here?
was really good, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
for
she's nice.
the other team, I know you got Collier.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have them the starters pulled up?
Yeah, so the for the guards, we got
Yeah.
Paige, what Bukers. I
Hmm.
can't pronounce her name. We got
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark. You got Alicia Gray, from
Hmm.
Atlanta. You got Sabrina, I know school from the Liberty.
Yeah.
That's her fourth selection. You got Leah Boston. Yo, she's nice from the Fever.
Yeah.
That's her. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
nice. This her
For
third
sure.
selection. You got Nafisa Collier. This her fifth
Yep.
selection. You got
She's looking like MVP right now too, by the
yeah,
way.
she nasty from the Minnesota Lynx.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's Minnesota Lynx, right? That's the name.
Yep. Minnesota
Okay.
Lynx.
You got Nakia Agamuki. She
Uh-huh.
just her 10th All-Star from Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Mm-hmm.
Satu Sabili from Phoenix. This her
Mm-hmm.
third
The lights
selection.
go. Mm-hmm. Yep.
You got Brianna, my girl Brianna Nice. This her seventh selection.
Mm-hmm.
Aja, her seventh selection, and then the
Mm-hmm.
reserves they coming up next.
I think
So yeah.
honestly, reserves, like people off the top of my head, I think that the girl that they acquired on a Liberty, I forgot her name. She might have a chance to make it. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if Angel Reese gonna make the reserve because she's having a surge now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but she might get in there. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So which girl you talk about for the Liberty? You got Natasha Cloud, John Quill
yeah,
Jones.
Cloud.
Cloud, okay, Natasha
Yeah,
Cloud.
I think she
Bet.
have a chance to make it as a reserve. And
Mm-hmm.
also, Kelsey Plum, she's been
Mm-hmm.
balling. She probably make it
Mm-hmm.
as a reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think, man.
Mm-hmm.
You have what's her name, man? She's on Seattle. Man,
She on
damn it.
Seattle?
Yeah. Point guard. Damn it.
See, what's her name?
Um,
Is it Seattle Storm?
yeah. Forgot her
Okay.
name. It's on the tip of my tongue, man. But
Okay. You got Gabby Williams. You got Skylar. Skylar, you talk about
there we
Skylar.
go.
Yeah,
Yes.
Skylar. My girl
I think,
Skylar, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's a little
Yeah.
older now, but
But now she's still balling. She's still
yeah, she put her
balling.
time in.
She's still
Skylar.
balling.
Her cute self. Yeah, I
Um,
like Skylar.
yeah, she's balling.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be interesting to see because I know like it's not like the NBA where they be playing for like like 2 months. It's
Mm-hmm.
been like about maybe 2 months, but they don't have as many games as NBA. So it's
Right.
kind of like I feel like it's fair and unfair to a degree. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really I think it's gonna be real tight with the reserves about who make
Right.
it. But yeah.
So here go a list of reserves that they have potentially making it.
Okay.
So you got Kelsey Mitchell from the Indiana Fever. You
Okay.
got Brittany Sykes from the Washington Mystics. You
Hmm.
got Natasha Cloud that we just talked about from the Liberty.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
got Gabby Williams from the Seattle Storm.
Hmm.
Alyssa Thomas from Connecticut Sun.
Hmm.
Kiki Ephraim, if I pronounce it right, from the Washington Mystics.
Uh-huh.
And they got Angel Reese, Chicago Sky, as potentials. They
Okay.
didn't even have Skylar Diggins up there as a potential, which is crazy.
Okay.
But yeah,
It'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see.
yeah, and they also about to do. I think they said they're adding 18 more teams. I believe
No,
for an expansion
3. I
WNBA.
think it's gonna be 18 in total, but they added a
18 in
team
total.
in
Yeah.
Philly, They
Mm-hmm.
bringing the team back to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
It's Philly, Detroit, and Cleveland.
Okay. They need to
Cleveland
bring
and Detroit had teams though before though.
yeah.
They had teams. So Philly never had a team in WNBA.
They need to bring the Comets back.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
That's a
if
historic.
Houston
I'm
get the
surprised they
market,
didn't bring them back first.
because I mean, I guess the Houston don't have the market. That's why they left in the first place.
I mean, you got the Houston Rockets out there that just got Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? They just had a NBA team that went to that did really good in the playoffs. You know, a young
This
ascending
is the
team.
this is within the past like 2 years though. Like, you know what I mean? You know,
True.
it was a drought with Houston for a little minute. You know,
Yeah.
that's why they lost him to begin with. So the owner who owned the Rockets, he owned them too, and it just wasn't really making much sense no
Makes
more.
no sense, right? Yeah, if it
So,
don't make dollars, don't make sense.
but if the league is doing better as a whole, where they could stand on their own, and it's like if you were an NBA owner, like owning both teams or something, and it's like it ain't worth it. Once the WNBA, if they keep making ground and it can stand on its own, probably we'll see more teams come back.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you know, and we gotta again attest to Caitlin Clark for the surge, right? She is because you look at her sneakers just sold out of minutes. You know, that is WNBA dollars as well. You know, as far and that's going to the WNBA. Part of that proceeds go to WNBA. So, and aside from all the other stars too, that's
Yeah.
in the league, but we all know like they are just putting Caitlin.
Yeah.
And somebody made an interesting point. Somebody was like, "Yo, Paige." She's like, "What does Caitlin do better than Paige?" And I looked at it. I'm looking at her game. I'm like, I'm like, she really doesn't, you know, do anything better than Paige other than shoot deep threes, right? But Paige got handle. Paige got a left, right. She got midi. You know,
Yeah.
so she does a lot of things well. You know, better than Caitlin Clark. But you know, again, when it comes to markability and the way she came in, you know, it's just everybody gravitates toward Caitlin Clark, rightfully so.
It's
But
like the
there's better
Kyrie Steph
players.
comparison,
Yeah, some right, Kyrie, right,
you know, because Kyrie
right,
do a lot of shit better than Steph. But
right.
you know what
But
I
we
mean?
looking at Steph because of the pizzazz, you know, Steph
Yeah.
coming down shooting the
Yeah.
logo, doing
Yeah.
shimmies and all that. They be like, "Oh, watch
Yeah.
Steph."
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile,
Yeah.
Kyrie just quietly give you 30,
Yeah.
like busting
Yeah.
your ass.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
man. But you know, shout out to WNBA. I like to see,
For sure.
them expanding. And I like to see more eyes coming to the WNBA, especially just like guys like us that's into basketball and you know switching over to WNBA and watching some of these games. Like, let me see some of these games. Let me see some of these
Yeah.
girls ball out. You know, so
Yeah.
it's growing. So I like to see that for the WNBA, man. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah. And then a funny thing, you saw your boy T Mac clearing up the whole thing. He basically was like, he know the real. He know Kyrie, is handles and stuff is better. But he said whenever he have an opportunity to show love to somebody from like his era, he gonna take the time to do that. So he was like, he just wanted to bring eyes to Tinsley because he was like, yo, they had 23 dimes as a rookie. Who getting 23 dimes as a rookie? They try to clean it up, but it's like, nah, because that ain't how you said it. You could have easily came out that way and be like, Kyrie's the best, but yo, don't sleep on Tinsley. You ain't have to put him out there and make him get dogged behind your comments. You could have went about that a whole nother way. He tried to clean it up though, like nah. You know what I'm saying?
It's like when you make
control.
Go ahead, my bad.
Now you good. You good.
Oh, because it's like when you make comments like that, right? To some degree, you want to big up the person, but on the hindsight of that, the person that you seemingly want to compare them to is a far superior person. So it makes the outside world looking in like, is he crazy? Like, yeah, he's nice, but you comparing him to Kyrie? Like, shout out to Tinsley, like, remember when we talked about, like, yo, shout out to Tinsley, don't disrespect to Tinsley. He's sick with it, but you cannot compare him to Kyrie. So I think if T-Mac would have, compared him to somebody of a lesser degree than Tinsley, which, to make the comparison, like he said, he used Kyrie name sort of for clickbait, but his intent was good, but the way he did about it was very wrong. You should have said, like you said, my boy Tinsley in my era, I could, in my era, Tinsley, he was the Kyrie of my era. If he would have said it like that,
something then people would be like, to those lines.
The people would be like, oh, the Kyrie of your era, okay, it would have made more people, let me go watch Tinsley. But now people were like, they look at it a negative way. Like, he compare him. He said he got better handles than Kyrie. Let me go look at this guy Tinsley. And he could do some nasty shit. They be like, fuck out of here. He ain't better than Tinsley. He ain't better than
Yeah.
Kyrie. And he could do some off the wall crap, you know? So
Yeah,
I
man.
think,
Yeah.
you know, T-Mac had to clear that up like, damn, man. T-Mac shooting
Tinsley
himself
didn't
in the
deserve
foot
those
lately,
bullets.
man.
Yeah, he didn't deserve to get those strays, man, off T-Mac, man.
Tinsley probably was at home chilling, playing the game. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah,
Damn.
he got some
Trending.
strays, man.
Jamal Tinsley, like, my name is trending. What?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
who talks about Tinsley?
And Tinsley is big Brooklyn. You know, salute. You know, that's why I'm like, he ain't deserved them strays. He could have easily just shed light on Tinsley, man.
Yeah.
He had to compare him to Kyrie and, you know,
Yeah.
make him get those darts, you know?
Yeah, that
So,
was bad. That was bad. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure Tinsley calling like, yo, dog. Nigga, I'm in here playing 2K and my name, my phone keep blowing up and I'm trending. What do you, T-Mac? Chill, bro. Chill,
Yeah,
T-Mac.
yeah,
Bro.
yeah, yeah,
Bro. But man,
yeah.
shout out
And
to T-Mac. He bored, man. He needs something to do, man. He need to go join the Big Three or something, man. Get off these mics. A lot of y'all
yeah.
guys that play in the NBA, y'all just get off the mics. Speaking of which, I know it's not a topic, but I gotta talk about it right quick. Did you see what LeBron James and his agent, what's his name, Rich Paul, said in lieu of the free agency?
Nah.
When he said that, you know, pretty much saying that he is going along with what the Lakers are doing as far as their moves in catering to Luka Doncic, but at this stage of career, LeBron James want to play for championships.
Ring chasing. Like, it's like, Bobby, the more that they talk, the more they just make the boy look crazy, man.
I'm going to pull up the statement, and I'm going to read it verbatim. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up. And
Crazy, man.
I'm like, the nerve of him.
And everybody was defending this dude with this whole ring culture stuff the last week. And he making statements like that is crazy.
Wait, let me see if I can find the statement. Where is it at? Okay, he said LeBron wants to compete for a championship. That was his first line. LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we had for 8 years with Jeannie Buss and General Manager Rob Pelinka, and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. So, looking at this statement, I'm like, but didn't you just say just a week ago that we don't understand where this ring culture came from? And here your agent is now putting out LeBron wants to compete for championships. So what is that, bro? Like, you are so contradictory. It's not even funny no more. It's blasphemous at this point in time. Like, bro, you gotta pick a side. Pick a side. You know, you self-proclaiming yourself, you want to be the GOAT, okay, but do GOAT things. Don't go out there and try to belittle something that you know you're not going to be able to get to the general public, but then go and say, yeah, this is what I want to do, though. I'm aiming for that.
Yeah.
Like, come on, LeBron.
Like, a lot of people late in their career, like the Lakers sucked when Kobe was on his way out. He just was like, I'm just going to play and leave. Mike joined the Wizards. I mean, you know, a lot of people, they just like, okay, I'm on it's the end of the road. All right, cool.
Right. Like, yo,
you know
just like LeBron, man, LeBron. And this is why, you know, he gets villainized so much, you know, because he contradicts himself so much. And I know people will comment, well, that wasn't talking about, but yes, it was. Yeah, just like when they say he didn't say ring matters. Yes, ring didn't matters. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He just didn't specifically say that phrase in its entirety, but if you understand comprehension, that's what he was pretty much saying because he know he's not going to catch Mike with rings. You know that he probably not
Yeah,
even gonna
at this
catch
stage, he know,
him.
like, yeah, I ain't gonna get two more.
Right.
But
You know
what I
he ain't
mean?
gonna catch Kobe. That's why he want to get another one to try to say at least I got 5, one under Mike. Because people are putting Kobe. A lot of people put Kobe above him. So you're like, yo, if I had 5 rings, right, then people can't talk about rings with me and Kobe now. They got to go to other thing else. That's how I feel he's thinking by what he does. So I just had to throw that out there because that was such a contradictory statement. I'm like,
Yeah.
and he start off, LeBron wants to win championships. Like, yo, why would you start off with that after you just had this whole ring coaching shit? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, bro. What's next?
Oh, the Dallas Strawberry and the documentary. I actually watched it this morning. You said you wanted to talk about it, so I watched it this morning. Yeah, it was dope. I'm a Mets fan. And I know that was that little period. It was actually, you hear about it. But then when you watch the documentary about, the drug issues that they had growing up as far as their families.
Yeah.
And then, how everything, ended up, Strawberry going missing. And then, the other one retired and then he got back on it because they're like, oh, I ain't going to be getting tested no more.
Right.
So it was dope to see, like, like how everything was, just spiraling.
What's crazy about that documentary that I take from it is like these guys was young, right? They in their early 20s, and back in the 80s, New York was crazy, cocaine, crack. It was just like everybody was doing it, right? It was a fad. Just watching the documentary and then seeing how abusive they were with it, and still going out there like it was nothing. Like striking out like no hitters, home runs. Like even Strawberry says like, well, I was drunk, and I just took it. I popped the amphetamine. I went out there and I just hit 2 home runs, and I'm fucked up.
You know what he said? Remember he said the ball looked bigger. He felt like he could hit anything. That was crazy. I was like, yo, he's like, the ball just looked real big. Horse. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, wow. Crazy.
That's crazy. And for them to win the championship in '86, knowing that these and half of the team was booted.
Half
of the team
crazy.
Drunk and cocaine.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
It was crazy. And the flip side to that, which when I was talking to you about, I was like, what's his name? Hold on. What was his name? Bill Buckner, right? Because they had a 30 for 30 on Bill Buckner and the Boston Celtics. The Boston Red Sox when they played the Mets in '86 for the World Series and lost.
Oh, they have a 30 for 30 on that?
Yeah, they got 30 for 30 on that.
I gotta watch that one. I just watched the Strawberry and other one. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Like in contrast, you're looking at the Mets and they beat Boston Red Sox in that game, like, oh, the amazing Mets, the miracle Mets, they was calling them, right? And then on the flip side of that, you got Buckner, who he wasn't the be all end all of why they lost game 6, but because they had like a 10-run lead or something. They caught up and a couple of errors, tied it up. And Buckner just, missed the ball. It just missed it, and Mets ended up winning. Because you gotta watch it. They had the champagne out in the locker room. They rolled up all because they was 1 out away from a World Series. So like, this is over. It was like the Tracy McGrady in Miami incident when they pulled out the trophy. Yeah, Ray Allen hit the shot. It was just like that, bro.
They didn't shed too much light on that in the Strawberry one, though.
No, because this is on the Buckner's joint. This is the reverse end of it.
I'm saying though, but they didn't even talk about like the big comeback. Like they didn't really.
Oh, they didn't even talk about that. Yeah,
like that. You would think that they would, because it's like but
yeah, they should have talked about because they was down by 10 runs and it was 1 out away. And you watch the
I
Buckner
gotta
30
watch
for
that one.
30.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
crazy because
I'm
I
gonna
saw
watch
that
that
one
one.
first, and I'm like, damn,
Okay.
I felt bad for the dude. Like he had to move out of Boston and all types of shit because they was blaming him,
Oh.
you know,
Oh. Okay.
for that joint. I'm
Okay.
like, damn, bro, like that's fucked up, right? So then the next 30 for 30 came on. That was Strawberry and Doc Gooden. So I'm watching it. And then it was like,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
did it come back? And I'm watching it, and it was like, yeah, they showed the Buckner play. I was like, oh shit, that was the
I
same
gotta.
one.
I gotta watch
Crazy.
it. I gotta watch that. I
You
gotta watch
gotta
that. Okay.
watch it, man. Shout out to
Okay.
Bill
But that was
Buckner,
good though.
man.
That was those.
That
I
was
love those 30 for 30s, man.
yeah, man.
A lot of good joints.
And it was crazy. Right quick back to the Dr. Strawberry one. Like he was so wounded. How you so wounded that you missed the whole parade? You missed the
Yeah.
whole championship parade because you
Yeah.
high in your drug dealer's apartment watching it. You lost track of time. You're in the apartment like, that's the parade. I should be there, right? Like, how high do
Yeah.
you gotta be to miss a whole parade?
Yeah.
Yo, in the
That was
80s, it
crazy.
was wild, son.
Yeah.
It was wild back then, man. But it's good to see those guys that they still alive and seemingly look
Yeah.
like they're doing well.
And they
You
both
know,
ended up playing on the Yankees. That's crazy.
both ended up playing on the Yankees. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy. Because he went to the Dodgers. Darryl went to the Dodgers
Right
after
after the
that.
Mets. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
and
was
then
the
he
worst
went
thing he ever did.
ever
Yeah.
did. Then he, went to the Yankees, So
Yeah.
that's crazy how that all came full circle. But yeah, shout out to those guys, man. It just showed how crazy athletes were, not only just for baseball, I'm pretty sure for a lot of other sports as well, how the crack cocaine epidemic was just out there. And these guys was doing it and still going in their respective sports and killing. So man,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. Shout out to those guys, man. Not shout out to the drug users, but shout out to
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
guys for persevering and getting through that. And shout out to Bill
Yeah.
Buckner, man. So you gotta watch it 30 for
I'm
30.
gonna
It's
watch that.
crazy.
And now
Crazy.
for the the finale, the big topic, the NBA free agency has been off to a crazy start. I mean,
Ooh, ooh,
yo,
wee.
the Bucks releasing Damian Lillard, I was like, wow. To sign Miles Turner, I heard Giannis was upset about that too.
That's it. Because they
That
didn't even inform Dame Lillard about it. That's the even more crazy
was
part about it.
crazy.
Like
But I heard Dame is he happy though. He said he get to pick where he go now
where he
and
go
not have to worry
now.
about the financial part of it now.
Right, because he getting his
Hopefully he could
bread.
come back. Yeah, hopefully he could come back the same type of player though. So prayers with Lillard because he come up to Achilles.
Because if
But
you look at Lillard again, how these type of injuries happens, right? It's like it depends on what type of player you are, that you're able to come back from that. I think Damian Lillard, he's not super athletic. He got a crazy jump shot. He doesn't really get off
Sam,
the
what up,
ground
Sam?
like that.
Dame
Who
going to
that?
Miami?
Yeah.
We'll
That's where
see.
he wanted to go.
Yeah,
And Miami could sign him for less, right? Because he's already getting
yeah,
his money. So they don't really got
yeah,
to put a big contract out on Damian Lillard. They could give Damian, they're not going to give him a vet minimum, but they could give him like, all right, we give you a 2-year, $30 million deal or something like that because you're already getting your money from the Bucks. So,
yeah.
I think it's
That was a good pickup though. That
yeah,
was a
I
good
think it's a
pickup
win-win
though.
for both teams, honestly, because
Yeah,
they
because they
had
lost Brook Lopez to the Clippers, and they was able to salvage that by signing Turner.
yeah, because they needed somebody to make Giannis happy or make him say, okay, I did something to at least try to keep me here. I don't
And they
know
signed
about you.
some the other vets. They re-signed, a couple dudes too, like Portis,
Yeah.
Porter Jr.
Mm-hmm.
They re-signed a couple guys, but I still don't feel like that's gonna keep Giannis there, especially if they saying Giannis wasn't happy about them releasing Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's true,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Boogie Cousin, he took a vet minimum, to go rehab and go to state. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
even with Boogie Cousins, like I felt he didn't lose a step. He just didn't get time to prove that, I'm still Boogie, right? Because I think after Golden State, where did he go? And he went to Denver. He went to Denver backing up Jokic,
yeah,
and he was
yeah,
killing. He was
yeah,
killing. He was
yeah,
Marcus Cousins was keeping him alive when
yeah,
Jokic was out. He was that
yeah,
guy. Jokic
Yeah,
came back, they kind of said, okay, forgot about DeMarcus Cousins, and that was like the beginning of I
yeah,
fading out DeMarcus. But when he got in, he proved that I think his attitude seemingly got him out the NBA, as you see what happened in Puerto Rico and shit like that.
yeah.
But
But speaking of Denver, though, they've made some moves too. Trading Porter Jr. Sajero called that too last week about Porter Jr. for
he
Cam
did.
Johnson,
He
and they
did.
picked up some other people too.
He
Um,
did.
they picked up. I forgot who else they picked up, but Denver. You see, they retooling. They
Mm-hmm.
retooling. The teams that I see that's doing things: Houston, Denver, the Knicks. They got a couple good pickups, adding depth. That's what I like. It's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't get the big star, but they added shooting. They
Mm-hmm.
added to the three players like Jordan Clarkson add scoring for the Knicks.
Mm-hmm. Who talking to which team?
The Knicks.
Oh, the
Jordan
Knicks. Okay.
Clarkson
Mm-hmm.
add some scoring off the bench, which the Knicks needed. And we talking
Mm-hmm.
about a legit scorer. So that was
Mm-hmm.
a good pickup for the Knicks.
Yeah,
The
Jordan
shooter that they
Clarkson.
added,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot his name, but the shooter. And then they got that guy from France.
Gershon Yabusil,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Tim Hardaway and Bruce Brown to Denver. Yep, the Sam just said, yeah. So Denver, they retooling. I mean,
And they got Cam
the,
Johnson from the Nets too.
yeah, they retooling,
Mm-hmm.
man. I like I like when I see from certain teams that was in the playoffs and they're like, yo,
You know
this is
who I
like the
like?
Knicks. Hmm.
You know who I like? I like Houston, bro. You know I'm a KD fan, but I like
No,
Houston.
they making a lot of good moves. They didn't
Look at
just say
they
we gonna get Kevin Durant and that's it. So
look at they re-signing. So they re-signed
Van Vliet,
Steven Adams,
yep, Van
Aaron
Vliet,
Holiday, Jeff Green, Jabari Smith. I don't know Jason Tate. I don't really see him play. But Fred VanVleet. And they added Clint Capella, Kevin
yeah, I saw
Durant,
that.
and Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah,
Houston, we have a problem. Like, yo,
I mean,
that team.
they definitely didn't just say we're gonna get Durant and that's it. So that's what I like. They was proactive and they
Mm-hmm,
said because that's like I was watching something and it's the truth.
mm-hmm,
In the NBA now, you
mm-hmm.
need to have depth.
You have to.
This like you can't just have the superstars and the bums not
Mm-hmm.
winning.
No
You
money.
need depth in this
Mm-hmm,
day and age in the NBA. Bottom
mm-hmm.
line. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
You
mean
have
that
to.
that that I mean that's been
Indiana and
MO.
OKC showed that.
Yeah, and that been the MO for a few years. That been the MO. Like you gotta have a bench, right?
Yeah.
You can't go in your rotation with six players, and thinking that you're gonna win any type of championship or any type of series with
Yeah.
six players in your rotation. No, you
Yeah.
gotta. If you could go eight deep, good. If you go 10 deep, great.
Yeah.
You gotta have depth, man. And I'm looking at the Houston Rockets. They did incredibly good this free agency. Oh my God, their team is crazy.
Yeah.
Lakers,
The
Lakers,
Lakers, man, I don't man,
and I
I
read
don't
something.
know,
They was
Lakers,
like
man.
LeBron James might ask for a trade. I'm like, if this motherfucker asks for a trade,
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. It's like if everybody wanna talk about LeBron, man, yo. LeBron, you 40 something, man. That's it, man. Like, there's nobody the Lakers, they be fools to be worried about you so much at
right,
this stage.
right. You are
You know what
40,
I'm saying?
about to be 41, bro. Like it's mind you, like again, we are attesting your greatness as far as your career and how you've been able to sustain such a long career. This would be 23rd season. No other NBA player has went this far. So,
Yeah.
kudos to you in doing that. But on the flip side of that is like, at what point do you say, let me just not let me just concede, right? Concede. You got
Hmm.
Luka Doncic over there. He's pretty much in shape from the pictures that we've seen. Lakers are pointing everything towards making the team for Luka. And you got to accept that. You know what I'm saying? You're not 35, 6 LeBron James in that Cleveland when he went monstrous. You're not that LeBron James no more. You're not the 20-year-old LeBron James no more. Not the team. You're a 41-year-old basketball player, albeit you are still a great player, but your time has came and went. So and Rich Paul and put that statement out just to say, okay, we know that you focus on Luka, but I'm still LeBron James. And Lakers is like, we know you're LeBron James, but we got Luka Doncic over here. It's crazy. We talking about him. We talking about the trade agency shit. We still talking about LeBron James. But yeah, man, I think this free agency. The big splash was obviously Kevin Durant. He was the big splash. Now we got to see where Damian Lillard is going to go. I feel sorry for Indiana because Indiana was
Oh
just in the
yeah, yeah.
finals, so they
It's a
pretty
wrap.
much rebuilding now. Holly out for the year.
Yeah,
Ain't no more Miles Turner. That
yeah.
team
It's a
is
wrap.
out.
It's a wrap.
What you call it? Minnesota solidified their team by signing Randall, so they want to keep that front court intact. They believe that they just need a few pieces around Ant to. They need another a legitimate scorer on that team, to at least compete because OKC they proved like okay we over that hump now. We won a chip. Now they got that confidence now. Like man, we just won last year. Let's go. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see. I like what Atlanta Hawks did though. Hawks did good. I like they bought a Luke Kennard, Porzingis. They got Alexander Walker. To go along with Trey Young. I like Hawks needed somebody like Porzingis in there. I like
Yeah,
that.
he's gotta stay healthy, man.
Yeah, he got that. Boston Celtics, they obviously they done. They done.
Yeah,
Because
man.
now you got to look at who is going to replace Boston. Seemingly, well, Boston is going to make the playoffs. They still got a good enough team to make the
They
playoffs.
just won't be
But
like a 1 or 2 or 3 seed, but they'll make it.
so
Especially
you
with
got
the
to look
play-in.
at,
You know what I
huh?
mean? I said, especially with the play-in.
Right. So you got to look at. I'm looking at it like, okay, which teams in the East is going to take over for the Boston or the Indiana Pacers? Right. Some people may say the Bucks. That's left to be seen. I still say
You got,
Cavaliers. Cavaliers was
I
a
mean, you still
freaking.
got teams like Orlando that in Detroit that can
Mhm.
raise
Well,
up.
Detroit just lost, looking like they're gonna lose Beasley. You know,
Oh,
um,
really? Because of
because
the
of
betting, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, man, that was one of their top players. You lose him,
Top shooter, yeah.
they taking a step back. So it's gonna be interesting to see which teams stack up. You got the Clippers. They just signed up. They look like they might sign Chris Paul as a backup, but that's going to be interesting to see Chris Paul and James Harden back together. We're going to see how
Yeah.
that's going to work out. They added Brook Lopez. They added Brook Lopez for Denver. That's what they added him for. They needed somebody else to come in there to when what's his name? That was what's the Lakers? I
Joker?
mean, no. What's the Clippers starting center?
Oh, Zubac.
Zubac. So when he go out, they need another body in there because they seen what Thunder was able to do with those two bodies, at least to put some
Yeah,
hype
Sam.
on
Boston
Jokic.
definitely lost a lot, man, for sure.
Yeah. Boston lost a hell of a lot. So it's interesting. We're gonna see.
Yeah.
We're gonna see which
So we're
teams.
gonna, we're gonna keep it locked in. Keep it locked in,
Yes,
for
keep it
sure.
locked in. But yeah, man, so it's interesting. We're gonna see what the Knicks gonna do. Like you said, Jordan Clarkson, that was a good pickup for them. The Thunder obviously is a Thunder. The Magic picked up Bane, Tyus Jones. They added, Philadelphia. We gotta see what they're gonna do. With Embiid and what's his name?
Paul George,
George. What he gonna do when they come
Maxi,
back?
and all of them. Yeah.
So we're
They
gonna
try.
see, man. We're gonna see.
Yeah, man.
We're
That's
gonna see.
episode
But man,
16, man.
my name Ron. I do show.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
man, it's been another great episode of Two Cents and Change the
yeah.
podcast. You know what it is, episode 16 in the books.
Yes,
It's your
sir,
boy,
man.
C.O. McLean.
Boy, Melly Mel, man. Yeah.
Hey, yo, and we're
Laugh
going to
that shit.
always, rest in peace to Kobe, man. We're always going to live by the Mamba mentality. All right? The Mamba
Yo.
mentality. Mamba out.
Episode 16.
Deuces.